This week we'll be talking about one-step equations using multiplication and division. Last week we learned one-step equations using addition and subtraction. Before we begin our new material, let's review a few of our rules. We talked about what the equal sign really means. We use it so much that sometimes we just don't think about what it actually means. What it means is that the things on both sides are the same or equal to. We looked at it in a couple different capacities. We looked at numerals, we looked at a not equal sign, and we looked at several different types of equations that we've been working on throughout our lives. As you will remember, we had two rules of algebra that were very important that I hope that you take with you wherever you go. The first is that what you do to one side of the equation that you must do to the other. You also learned that you had to isolate or get the variable by itself. We did a lot of that last week as we learned how to do addition and subtraction problems. Let's go over those again. Here you can see our reviewing of addition problems. The strategy that we used was to use subtraction, or to use the opposite. We had the equation g plus 8 equaling 11, and we took a negative 8 to both sides of the equation. Hence our algebra rule, what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. Positive 8 and negative 8 canceled itself out to be a g, and then 11 minus 8 we solved. And we checked to make sure that was correct. And yes, indeed, 3 plus 8 does equal 11. Let's review subtraction problems. The strategy that we used for subtraction was to use addition, or the opposite of. As we looked at our first problem, e minus 5 equaling 9, we noticed that we added 5, a positive 5, to both sides of the equation, and that canceled itself out on the left side, leaving just e, and giving us 9 plus 5 equaling 14 on the right-hand side. Notice that all of my equal signs were lined up, and as I checked, we knew that 14 minus 5 equals 9. We're going to use some of the same strategies of opposites as we work through our new material. So what strategy do you think that we will use as we learn about multiplication problems? If you said division, you are absolutely correct. Now, what strategy do you think that we will use with division problems? If you said multiplication, you are absolutely correct. We use the opposite for each. There's a few things that I want you to remember before we start working on our new material. I want you to remember to put the variables and the coefficients when you're using multiplication problems in the proper form. Look at my examples. N times 3 in parentheses is the same as 3n. 3n would be correct, and 3 would be incorrect. Here's another example. Z times 4 in the parentheses is the same as 4z. That is the correct form. Z4 is incorrect. Technically, it means the same thing, but it's easier to work on when you do problems. The next thing I want you to remember is how to express a whole number as a fraction. We've been doing this since we've been playing Montessori circles since we were in 3rd grade in my class, and probably younger than that, maybe with Miss White or Miss Stewart if you had her. So let's take a look at what the whole number 6 means. When we want to express it as an improper fraction, we can express it 6 over 1 because there's only one part to 6 whole things. Similarly, 5 becomes 5 over 1 and 8 becomes 8 over 1. Remember those as we go to work through our new material. All right, here's our new material. N times 3 parentheses equals 15. The first thing that we see that we need to do is to take this multiplication part that's in the incorrect form and put it in the correct form. 3 times n equals 15. Notice that I'm lining up my equal signs as I go. I drop another equal sign, and now I have to think about I have to isolate that variable n and get that n by itself. What can I do to do that? Well, we know that 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. So because this is a multiplication problem, we're going to now divide by 1 over 3 to both sides of the equation. So let's take a look at what that looks like. We've got our 1/3 that we're dividing on this side and our 1/3 on this side. It becomes 3n divided by 3 equals 15 over 3. We notice that if we cross cancel, these 3's divide each other right out and they're equal to 1. 3 over 3 we know is 1. So looking at this cross canceling, we're simply left with n. As we multiply across, now we are left with 15/3. When we divide that out, we can determine that n is equal to 15. As with anything else, we check. Here is our original problem. 3 times n equals 15. We notice that when we multiply the 2, we get 15 and we are correct. Now here's another multiplication problem, but this time we have a negative in front of it. So our equation is negative 4c equals 24. Right away, we can sort of start thinking about what c might be equal to, but let's look at how we can do this algebraically. We know that the opposite of multiplication is division, so we took our negative 4c and divided by negative 4 on both sides. Because what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. So we did the opposite. We divided by negative 4. Once we divided that out, because that went away, because it is equal to 1, we put it on this side and we discovered that 24 divided by 4, negative 4, is negative 6. We put it into our equation and we discovered we were correct. This problem has a fraction inside of it. So let's take a look at our first one. 1/3 k equals 12. This is a division problem because we have the fraction here, so we have to go the opposite. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the whole number 3. Here is the 3. I'm not expressing it as 3 over 1. You can, but I kind of at this point am already recognizing that it is a 3, and I know it means 3 over 1. So if we continue to multiply 3 times 1 and 1 times 3, those cancel each other out and we just get k. When we multiply 12 times 3, we get 36. We put it into our original equation. 36 divided by 3 does indeed equal 12. This problem has a variable as the numerator and a regular denominator, and then another part to the equation of a different number. Now what we have to remember is the same idea, that we're doing the opposite. So in this case, we're multiplying both sides by 6, or 6 over 1. I put it as 6 over 1 to make it easier for you to see. These cancel each other out. This becomes just plain x, and 6 times 6 over 1 becomes 36. As we put 36 back into our equation, we find that we are correct. Our last one is probably the trickiest because we have both a negative and a fraction in front of our variable at the same time. So let's take a look at what we have. We have negative 1/3 y equals 2. So we've copied the equation down, we've copied the 2 down, we've copied the y down, and we've got the negative 1/3 here. We find that in this case, we're going to multiply negative 3 over 1, or negative 3, times both sides of the equation. Remember, you've got to do what you do to one side, you've got to do the other, so that we can isolate the variable. Because when these cancel each other out, we are left with just y. 2 times negative 3 gives us negative 6. When we put it back into the equation, in this particular instance, we are left with 2 steps to determine if our answer is correct. So let's take a look at that. Because we have negative 1/3 by negative 6, it became 2. So that ultimately became negative 6 over 3, which then is equal to 2.